San Francisco, as you know, had several propositions on the ballot last night. I think that the people have to look behind those propositions to see how they're really written, what they really mean, and what they're really going to do before they understand the effect of it. For example, we have Prop A, which is $300 million on affordable bonds. This is more affordable bond money for affordable housing, quote unquote. One of the biggest scams going on in the state right now is affordable housing and the usage of nonprofits in the building of units in the affordable housing world. That's a scam. $300 million was just passed by San Francisco on top of the $1.2 billion they've already passed since 2015. And we need more affordable housing in a city that's losing people. Anyway, Prop B in San Francisco was police officer staffing levels. It was no by 68 to 32 last time I checked. Now, what this really is an additional tax to fully fund the police department to achieve maximum staffing as set by under the charter. One of the basic functions of government is to provide security for its citizens. That's one of the primary functions of government. But this proposition says, no, you're going to have to pay an extra tax if you want 1,978 officers on the payroll. Right now, San Francisco has 1,400. Why? Because they haven't attracted them. They've bashed the police department 7 ways from Sunday. No one wants to be a cop anymore. They've made it real hard on the police department. Now they want to tax the people to fully fund the police department. Proposition C is the real estate transfer tax, which ranges from 0.5% all the way up to 6%. If you want to change the usage of a building from commercial, downtown you have a commercial building, you want to make it into housing, because now everything's housing. If the city's serious about it, eliminate the transfer tax. Let people do it without paying an extra tax. That's what this measure is about. I believe this measure has passed 54 to 46 last time I checked. So the elimination of this transfer tax is good for the city because it allows them to convert office buildings downtown to other uses and housing. If the city is serious about housing, this is the way to go. It's a good move. Proposition D. This is kind of a crazy one. This is changes to the ethics laws, that everybody's supposed to go through ethics training. Well, several thousand people, most of the people work for the city, are not exposed to the type of decisions that would require ethics training. Now we're going to do it for everybody. Janitors, clerks, it's going to cost a fortune. Well, training, extensive training. It delves into the personal lives of those who are undergoing the training. In other words, seasonal gifts from your coworkers and stuff like that. All has to be disclosed. It's just more red tape. It's more administrative red tape that the city doesn't need. The ethics standards and training should apply to those that are elected and those department heads. That's where the ethics training should go. The average city worker, it's not going to make any difference whether you train him or not. He's not exposed to the type of shenanigans that they are. So that's that one. Proposition D. Proposition E is the police department policies and procedures. Now, this makes 4 changes. It allows the chief of police to go ahead with, to eliminate meetings with the police commission in order to implement changes. So he doesn't have to have neighborhood meetings. That's good, there's less bureaucracy. Patrol officers may not spend more than 20% of their time on administrative tasks. That's good, because right now some of these guys are spending half their time doing it because the public wants transparency and all this. So too much police work is being consumed by paperwork. 3, limits on this limits written use of force reports. Whereas before, anytime force was involved, they had to do a big report. Now it limits those reports to either gun violence or harm. And that's good. So the cops only spend the time writing up when there's really some damage done. I think this voted yes, and it did pass. The next one, Prop F, is a real doozy. This is a real San Francisco Trojan horse. It requires testing, screening of recipients for public assistance. Now let's stop and think this one through. Screening of recipients for public assistance. Everybody they test is going to test positive, I guarantee that. Does that mean they're not going to get their benefits according to this, the way I read it? No. They can continue to get their benefits. It does not require total sobriety from substance abuse to maintain your benefits. There's nothing in that proposition. So this is a smokescreen. This is a step in the right direction, and it is. Testing, you have to test before you can do anything, but it doesn't do anything. There's no teeth to it. There's no follow through. That's typical San Francisco. Prop G, this is a basic, simple yes. In 2014, we eliminated the study of algebra by 8th grade kids because, as some groups claimed, it was discriminatory against people of color. So let's not have them study algebra or anybody else. So what's happened since 2014, they found out that these kids graduating from San Francisco public schools are not able to compete because no one wanted to go on and study geometry or anything else. They weren't able to compete. Now it's beginning to show that our kids are lagging behind. Kids of all color lagging behind other jurisdictions. So the people say, let's reinstitute the study of algebra in the 8th grade. Just common sense. That's a yes. I mean, that's a common sense question. These ballot measures are very indicative of where the city of San Francisco is today. Some of them sound good, so you vote for them, but they really aren't going to do anything. And that is the state of San Francisco today. That city is not going to change unless you really make some dramatic, bold moves. The average San Franciscan wants his city back, and he's not going to get it unless he makes the effort to stand up and back those candidates that have the guts to tell it like it is. Now, the people that are making the decisions are not only misguided, uneducated, and don't have a knowledge of public administration or the good of the constituents at heart. What they do have is a very good nose to smell profit and a very good instinct to get reelected. I'm not saying they're evil. I am saying they're not genuine and they're not caring for the constituents that they represent. They're perpetuating themselves in office. The latest trend is to use nonprofits because nonprofits will kick back at election time. They'll put workers on the street. They'll ensure your re-election. And that's growing leaps and bounds with affordable housing and homeless services and services for the mentally ill and services for anybody that you want to call a victim. We're going to create a nonprofit and we're going to fix it for them. Those nonprofits are awards they're giving to those groups as dictated by the politician. They're not, call it evil, they're opportunists. They're greedy opportunists. They're not in the game for the constituents they represent. I believe there's a reward to a certain kind of spiritual honesty. I believe that at the end of the day, if you're doing right for the person you're representing, the person who's elected and put you in office, if you're doing what's right for him, you're going to be rewarded. That's a personal belief of mine. So I think that's the way we have to go. We have to get honest people in there that are willing to work for the people, not for themselves. San Francisco is very unique. It's a city that has always been culturally different. Happy-go-lucky people. I mean, you live there for a reason because you love the beauty, you love the surrounding, you love the happiness. This is in the past that existed. And regardless of a person's political leanings, you all relaxed and got along together and had a drink and made happy. It's a wealthy city. It was a wealthy city. Over the years, a vacuum has been formed. People in San Francisco, raising a family in San Francisco is hard. I mean, I'm the father of 7. If I didn't have a great wife, I wouldn't be able to do it. It takes money, it takes work. You are too busy to analyze everything that's going on politically in that town. That's the average San Franciscan. They're too busy keeping things afloat, making money to keep things going, and tending their family and tending their business. And you've been too busy to look at City Hall. Over the years, a vacuum has been formed, and all the exploiters jumped into it. Everybody that probably couldn't make it in another field jumped in because they wanted to be noted for something in their lifetime. I want to be a politician. I want to save the universe. I want to do this. I want to do that. So you had a vacuum form where a bunch of clowns jumped in, and then from that, a machine developed. A machine on one party they developed the neighborhood groups, they developed the volunteers, they courted the moneyed people for money. A machine developed. That's what runs San Francisco. Not unlike Boss Tweed, New York, in years past. So now people are waking up and saying, what happened to my beautiful city that I love? You know, I'm getting taxed to death. I don't agree with the stuff that's coming out of City Hall, but what can I do about it? I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'm too busy. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Well, now they're getting upset, you know? And I think what you saw on the ballot last night is opening the door to that. The other thing, we've had an onslaught of people on the Board of Supervisors, of which I was a member, that are all coming out of the same college of thinking, that the government has to do everything for everybody, and if you don't agree with that, you're a bad guy, you know? They're all leftists. Most of them are all socialists. That's what they are. Now, if you're into socialism, that's great. If you're not, well, you're an outcast and you're a bad guy. Those are the people that are running the city. That's not the average San Franciscan. The average San Franciscan is now waking up to the fact that they dropped the ball. Whether they'll get it back in the next election cycle or two, I don't know. It depends if these guys running wake up, or these people running wake up, or have the guts to wake up. I think they all know. It takes a lot of guts to stand up and say, hey, no more discrimination. I don't care what color you are, what your financial or ethnic background is. You're all the same. We're going to treat you the same. It takes a lot of guts to say that because you're going to get hit from 100 different angles. It takes a lot of guts to take the time to analyze these propositions and then explain them to people.